Listen, have you ever felt just totally frustrated because every single time you try to lose weight you end up failing within a week? Trust me, you are absolutely not alone. The author of the source material we're digging into today was 30 pounds overweight, exhausted all the time, and trapped in clothes that just didn't fit anymore. They tried the punishing gym routines, the super restrictive diets, completely cutting carbs, and literally nothing stuck. Well, nothing stuck until they finally stopped doing what the standard fitness industry told them to do. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to unpack the brilliant, straightforward journey of an ordinary person who dropped 10 kilograms in exactly 30 days, completely without stepping foot in a gym.
So why do most diets fail within a week? It's a massive question, right? For the author, the failure was just constant because they were relying on this outdated, overly complicated playbook. But when they finally stripped away the expensive supplements, the pricey personal trainers, and all those exhausting cardio sessions, they actually found a sustainable path. And today's core analysis is all about decoding that exact path. What blew my mind in the source material was the absolute simplicity of the steps they took to reprogram their body and their habits, which we are going to break down for you in plain, simple English.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our step-by-step roadmap. First up, the 80-20 rule. Then we'll cover the eating window, followed by whole foods, gym-free movement, the sleep and stress secret, and finally, your blueprint.
Section 1. The 80-20 rule. Diet versus movement.
And this brilliantly illustrates our first major paradigm shift. For years, we've basically been programmed to think we just need to exercise more to lose weight. But the reality? A massive 80% of fat loss comes down to what you eat, and only about 20% is how you move. The author noted their real progress only started when they finally stopped trying to burn off bad food at the gym. It's totally a losing battle. You just cannot outtrain a bad diet. Your focus really needs to shift right now to your plate, rather than the weights.
To scientifically anchor that 80-20 rule, we have to talk about your basal metabolic rate, or BMR. I absolutely love this concept. Your body is already burning calories just by existing. Breathing, digesting your food, keeping your heart beating, all of that accounts for roughly 60 to 70% of all the calories you burn in any given day. The gym? That only adds a tiny marginal percentage on top of this massive baseline. Once you wrap your head around the fact that your body is already doing the heavy lifting, you realize that controlling the fuel you give it is the ultimate lever for fat loss.
Section 2. Mastering your eating window. When to eat.
You see, the very first thing the author changed wasn't actually what they ate, but exactly when. This is the classic 16-8 intermittent fasting schedule, and it's incredibly straightforward. The author ate all their meals within an 8-hour window. So breaking their fast at noon, having a late lunch around 3 p.m., eating dinner at 7 p.m., and strictly starting their fast again at 8 p.m. That leaves a solid 16 hours of fasting. And during those 16 hours, only water, black coffee, and plain tea. No calories, no exceptions whatsoever.
But why does skipping breakfast and cutting out that late-night snacking work so effectively? It's all about insulin. When you fast, your insulin levels naturally drop. And when insulin is low, your body is essentially forced to flip a biological switch. It stops storing fat and starts burning it for energy. The author described it as the body literally eating itself, but in the best way possible. They weren't starving, they just shifted the window. And the result? They dropped 2 kilograms in just the first week. Sure, mostly water weight and bloating, but getting that early win provided massive momentum. Section 3. Fueling with whole foods. What to eat. So, the crucial point is, fasting is not some magic trick that gives you a free pass to eat a box of donuts during your 8-hour window and still expect to lose weight. You still have to fix the food quality. The author used an exact, highly repeatable daily meal plan. At noon, meal 1 is protein-heavy, scrambled or boiled eggs with spinach and a piece of whole wheat toast. Meal 2 at 3 p.m. is a massive salad loaded with grilled chicken or tuna. Notice the dressing here, just olive oil and lemon. There's a strict rule against heavy, creamy dressings. Meal 3 at 7 p.m. centers on protein again, lentils, fish, or chicken, alongside roasted veggies and just a single fist-sized portion of rice. It's simple, it's filling, and it's built entirely on whole foods. For snacks, just a small handful of almonds or an apple. That's it.
But just as important as what went into the diet is what came out. The author completely cut out 3 specific things. First, sugary drinks. No soda, no juice, no sweet, syrupy coffees. Second, ultra-processed foods. So we're talking chips, cookies, and fast food. And third, absolutely no late-night eating after 8 p.m. These 3 subtractions, honestly far more than any expensive meal plan or fancy superfood powder, drove the vast majority of their actual fat loss. just cutting out the garbage.
Section 4. Movement without the gym, simple daily activity. Now, I know we promised no gym, and we are definitely keeping that promise. But no gym does not mean no movement entirely. The solution here was incredibly simple: 30 to 45 minutes of walking every single day. No running, no high-intensity interval training, no heavy weights, just walking. Walking is easily the most underrated movement out there. It requires zero equipment, you don't need a gym membership, and you can literally do it forever. But here's the real secret. Walking actively reduces cortisol, which is a stress hormone that's actually one of the primary culprits behind stubborn belly fat.
On top of the walking, the author incorporated these 3 body weight steps every morning right at home: push-ups, squats, and planks. Just 10 minutes total. Why? Well, it's all to preserve muscle while losing fat. Remember our BMR conversation from earlier? If you lose muscle, your metabolism slows down. This tiny 10-minute investment ensures your metabolic engine stays totally revved up without ever needing to step foot in a gym.
Section 5. The sleep and stress secret. The hidden saboteurs.
We're getting to the narrative climax here because this is probably the most ignored tip in the entire fitness industry. It's the hidden saboteur that can completely destroy all of your diet willpower. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the biological tug-of-war that happens when you don't sleep. When you lack sleep, your body ramps up production of ghrelin, that's your hunger hormone. Simultaneously, it drops leptin, the hormone that tells your brain you are full. The result? You feel intensely hungry, even if you just ate. You crave sugar, you snack at night. Guys, it's not a lack of willpower, it's literally a hormonal crisis caused directly by poor sleep.
To combat this, the author treated sleep and stress management just like a workout. They prioritized 7 to 8 hours of sleep, put their phone away 30 minutes before bed, and kept the room cool and dark. But they also managed daily stress with just 10 minutes of evening journaling, writing down 3 things they were grateful for and 1 win from the day. I know, it might sound a little bit cheesy, but scientifically, lowering stress lowers cortisol, which stops your body from aggressively storing fat around your waistline. Managing your high cortisol through simple journaling is literally a biological weight loss strategy.
Section 6. Your blueprint for success. 30-day results.
Using this incredibly simple system, the author achieved absolutely stunning results. 10 kilograms lost in 30 days. Their face looked sharper, their belly was flatter, their energy was through the roof, and their old clothes fit perfectly again. And most importantly, it was highly sustainable. So, here is your ultimate master checklist to replicate those results. 16-8 fasting from noon to 8 p.m. High-protein, whole food meals. Strictly cutting out liquid sugar and processed garbage. A daily 30 to 45-minute walk. Just 10 minutes of morning bodyweight exercise. And prioritizing 7 to 8 hours of sleep alongside daily stress management. No fancy gym memberships here. No complicated meal prep services. Just highly effective foundational habits.
There is a quote from the source material that really stands out to me. The difference between people who transform their bodies and people who don't is not talent. It's not genetics. It's consistency with simple habits. The author wasn't a professional athlete. They weren't some fitness expert. They were just a regular person who was tired of being tired. Success doesn't come from having elite genes. It comes purely from consistently showing up for yourself, day after day, with these very basic principles.
So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with this provocative question. Which one small step will you start today? Don't try to change your entire life overnight. Pick just one habit from this blueprint. Maybe it's finally cutting out soda. Maybe it's committing to a 30-minute walk after work. Or maybe it's just putting your phone away and going to sleep a little bit earlier tonight. Small steps lead to massive results if you just keep showing up. Pick your one step, start right now, and I'll see you in the next explainer.